This is Nick Christopher from Mob Tales. Hope you guys are doing well. Please like, share, and subscribe. We definitely appreciate it. Today we have a very interesting guest. Gentleman I had the pleasure of meeting at the Mob Summit in Vegas. Really nice guy, has an interesting lifestyle, life experiences. Lou Balestrieri, if I'm pronouncing that correct.
Balestrieri. I don't have your picture now. Hold on.
You see
All
me?
right.
All
I
right,
got you.
Beautiful. Very good. Well, like I was telling everybody, welcoming you to the show. Louis B, I will say it that way.
Louis B. Everybody calls me Louis B. They just killed my last name, Balestrieri. So Louis B is easier. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, definitely thank you for coming on to the show. And just to I'm going to give the people just a little bit of an idea of your background without giving too much away. Lou comes from the New York the hard streets of New York, who grew up tough on three different levels. And during his, usually in New York, if you're from Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, the Bronx, you usually go three different directions. You either become a cop, a fireman, or a gangster. One of the three. You know, more or less, unless you become a doctor or a dentist if you're lucky. But most of us didn't study too much back in those days. But nevertheless, Lou kind of bordered on two different areas. You know, the tough guy, gangster kind of way, and then later on became a very well-decorated NYPD detective. And he did some great things that helped a lot of people. So it's a lot of things we can say about Lou. It's just, it'll take me forever. But as you see behind him, there is a book he's working on called, if I'm right, called Revenge Served Cold. And then the documentary, Operation Wasteland, which I saw the documentary. I saw it and it was fucking awesome. And definitely, you guys should definitely check it out. So Lou, I'm going to start with a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
My first question, and we don't want to divert too much and go into different tangents, because we want to give people exact answers. And at the same token, I don't want to give people too much away for the book, because then if you tell them everything, they're not going to bother getting it. So you want to keep them a little bit in suspense.
Okay, let me just say this about the book. The book has nothing to do with my life. The book is a novel fiction based on some facts, things I know, things I heard, and it's just, I'm going to leave you in suspense. It runs in one direction, then I'm going to cut it off at the end, and you're going to be baffled. This way I can write another book.
Yeah, that's a smart way.
I have several chapters left, and I just got a literary agent who's going to help me put it out there, because I'm having bad luck trying to put it out there myself, because you know, I'm not an accomplished writer as of yet, but I'm moving along. Slow and steady goes the race.
Yes, that's for sure. Well, my first question would be, I mean, you came up tough, obviously, and you did a little bit of stuff on the wrong side of the track in the beginning, and then you diverted into, you know, getting involved with the NYPD. So, with growing up, what caused the change from being this tough guy in the street, doing a little shakedowns here and there, then from going on to becoming something of more of an honest living as an NYPD detective? What caused that transition?
Well, I always had a fascination. I come from a family of 14 cops, and I always had a fascination. My dad was a cop, and I always had a fascination of the stories that he told, the things that they did. So I really liked that cop life, but I also had a fascination with the way the wise guys operated. And, you know, I grew up in East New York as a teenager, and I did things. I thought I was doing the right thing, and I learned later on that it really wasn't the right thing. I moved out to Long Island, and working in a place that is owned by a organized crime guy. He wasn't a killer. He was a businessman, and I started hanging out with his nephews. And Massapequa, Long Island, is full of organized crime guys' kids, grandsons. As we know, Carlo Gambino lived on Club Drive. The guy next to him was a guy by the name of Bonnie Rogers. The guy on the other side was a Gambino capo, and I got to know these guys, and we were going to clubs together. We're hanging out together, and I did something that I shouldn't have done. And the guy that I did it with, he got tagged out off base. He didn't give me up, and he went to jail. He did 7 years, and I said, I didn't like the pension plan, and I didn't like the health benefits that side of the fence was going to give me. So I was dating at the time a detective's daughter who was a big influence in my life. He was a real good guy. As a matter of fact, when I got promoted to detective, I took his detective shield number, which is a very high honor. So I go to work for an insurance company. That's a nice, clean business. I'm working for Equitable, and I start doing things that I learned on the other side of the fence in the insurance business. For instance, everybody has a weakness. Everybody has a price that they want to, that they'll accept. So I was hitting on big companies and what have you, and talking to their benefits representatives, and to try to sell like a 500-person healthcare policy. We take the guy out to lunch, and then we go to a whorehouse in Manhattan and get him cleaned up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was very influential in selling these cases. In addition to that, I figured out that when you're dealing with big policies with older people, a lot of times they can't get insured. They're uninsurable because they're 58 years old, and they got high blood pressure, they got this, they got that going on. And I figured a way on how to take the doctors. We'd send one doctor in, and he would take the blood pressure on the right-hand side. And the blood pressure was 4,000 over 1,700. And we couldn't get him car insurance. So I said, okay, give me the paperwork back. That went through the paper shredder. And then we send Dr. Vinny Boom Motz in. You know what I mean? He went in with a white envelope. And he took the other side. He took their blood pressure, and it was 110 over 70. The guy became healthy real quick. So he got the policy. The policy got issued. We got a big commission, and chances are he was going to die, and the policy was going to get paid. And it was just.
Yeah, you ran like an insurance scam, basically.
Yeah, it wasn't a scam. It was what it was. It was making a living.
More or less. Well, after doing that and playing on that side of the fence, you eventually moved over. What caused you to decide to enter the NYPD outside of your family?
Yeah. I was influenced by my ex-father-in-law and my father, and I says, what, if I'm going to get married, I can't have children. I got to get a better life for myself. And what I did was I took all the police tests, state troopers, Nassau County, corrections. And then one day I got a phone call, and he said, listen, if you're interested, I had gone through the background and all that other stuff, the investigation, how they didn't pick up any of the things. I never got arrested or anything. I was, squeaky clean. I got, I think, one summons one time for driving a motorcycle without a motorcycle license, which no big deal. They called me, and I went, and on 7/16/84, I got sworn in as a cop. And once I lifted my hand to uphold the Constitution and support the law, I never did anything wrong. I decided that I was going to be squeaky clean. Not that I bent the rules, but I was not gonna. I never shook anybody down. I never accepted a payoff. I never took drugs. I never flaked anybody. I did everything the way I was supposed to do it. As a matter of fact, in the time I spent on the New York City Police Department, I never got we got what was called command disciplines, which is when you do something wrong, you get a command discipline, and they take pay from you. It's called a RIP, reduction in pay. Now they could take 2 weeks from you, they could take 3 weeks from you, they could give you 30 days and a year's probation. I never had any of that. I got 2 minor rips where I was warned and admonished, where they never took any time for me. So I wasn't a corrupt cop. I just was a guy that they couldn't control, and they had no respect, which is something that really bothers me. The upper echelon of the police department were the thieves and hooers from 30 years ago, but everybody else that is coming behind them couldn't do those same things because they would be corrupt, which is absolute horseshit, because that's what makes the world go round. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. But like I said, I never took a payoff. That wasn't anything that I was going to do. I threw a lot of beatings, but I didn't hit anybody that didn't deserve to be hit. If you weren't a rough and tumble cop, these people would shit on you, And that's, my dad said, listen, you never tell anybody that they're going to be under arrest if you don't mean it, because if they'll challenge you, and then it becomes a real problem. So, I was a good street cop. I made a lot of arrests. If you see the video, at the time I was a young cop. I had guys throw car batteries off the roof of me. And then one day I had a man step out from behind a van, and he fired 3 rounds at me. My captain says, I got to take you off this post. I was running this post all by myself on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. At the time was the heroin capital of America. And, I did quite well as a cop. I got more than 23 medals. I'm in the police department's Honor Legion. I was a good cop. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I worked with some of the best cops you could ever imagine. Now, the shit houses where you worked, and I was in a shit house, those were the cops that were the better cops. They were busy places, and they knew how to run the street, and you never had to worry about each other.
Well, how long were you on the force for?
Okay. I did a little over 13 years. While doing this Operation Wasteland case, I had a freak accident where I got struck in the elbow by a jalousie door. It took the tip of my elbow off, and then eventually crushed my ulnar nerve. I had 2 surgeries while I was still a cop, and then I had to get another surgery after I retired to take care of my ulnar nerve, and I lost 30% use of my arm.
Wow.
So I had to retire on a disability pension. I would have hung in as long as I can if the NYPD would have taken care of myself and my team. That's another story in itself.
That's not to really brand the NYPD as totally bad, especially in today's day and age where they're getting a lot of slack and they're not getting the support they deserve. Because the way, see, when you say that, some people may think, oh, well, yeah, you're right. The NYPD sucks. They're no good. They're bad people. Just to make it clear, because I know you don't feel that way. But
no, I'm very pro cop.
No, I know that. I'm saying sometimes I don't want to, but people think like, wait a minute, he's pro cop, but he's on one hand he's trashing him, and on the other hand he's giving him a medal. Like, which one is it? So I'm not saying I'm not for me. I know how you feel. But I'm saying when people who don't know you that well, they may get confused or may say, well, okay, so what does he mean?
Well, we had a situation where my team was a punishment team. It was actually the Bad News Bears. And I got stuck in this team. And I was put there as a punishment. And they dumped this case on the team. I came there after it started. And we wound up doing the largest organized crime case in the history of New York law enforcement, which was never expected that we could do this. And we did it. And we locked up over more than about 32 wise guys, associates to the rank of capo and soldier. We crushed 27 crime and sanitation companies. And we took in $271 million in asset forfeiture.
Wow.
As a result of that, Clinton, Giuliani, and the police commissioner went to Washington, D.C., and Clinton gave him another $54 million based on the results of this case. Now, we were promised when we took this case down in June of 1995 that we were all going to get promoted. And that meant like a $10,000, $12,000 raise. We were going to be detectives, detective second grade, making what's known as sergeant's pay. It's called grade. And the benefit of that is if I got promoted to sergeant, it would take me 5 years to get to top pay. When I got grade, if I got second grade, I go right to top pay. So this is a big shot in the arm. I never wanted to be a supervisor. I was one of those guys that were a little bit in need of supervision. You know, I didn't do anything wrong, but I did things my way. And that promotion never came. And I left that police department very angry and distraught. And I hold it against them, you know. I've seen a lot of good things happen within the police department. I was a cop's cop, but this particular case is based on my experience. We got screwed. The whole team got screwed. We didn't get promoted. And today, I think it's 6 guys now in that team are dead. They're never going to see the accolades. After I retired, the unit that I was in gave everybody a medal. I got nothing, zero, nada, because I was not, I wasn't one of the happy guys that would kiss the boss's asses. That's not who I am.
So would you say that would be one of the reasons why, like, you and your crew, your unit weren't like that, weren't like these the yes men, they weren't that kind of unit?
No, we weren't. We were in the elite of the elite. Were in this particular unit. You needed a phone call to get in there. You had to know somebody. And of course, you had to have a good record. You had to be on the ball. And I got into this team. Prior to going into that team, I was drafted into a team called HIDA, which was under the Organized Crime Control Bureau umbrella. I had a very good background in Asian organized crime. I had locked up a lot of gang members. I knew how gangs worked. So I interviewed for this HIDA team, which was broken down into Asian heroin, Colombian drug dealers, and just ordinary drug gangs. And Haitians and what have you, and Jamaicans and so on and so forth. And with the knowledge that I had of Asian organized crime, the lieutenant, who happened to be an Asian, asked me if I was interested in being an undercover. And I said, why would I want to be an undercover when I already have my detective shield? That's the carrot they hang in front of your nose. You become an undercover and they promote you to detective. Now I am already a detective. So he says to me, within 18 months, I'll make sure you get promoted to second grade. I says, that's fine. So what I did, I created a guy, and that was my undercover role. I'll mention his name, Phil Basile. He owned all the nightclubs on Long Island. Mm-hmm. He was arrested back in the day for giving Henry Hill a no-show job. I didn't know him per se. I couldn't call him on the phone, but I knew he owned all these nightclubs, and I knew he had a bunch of nephews. So what I did was I became one of his nephews that he didn't know. So if anybody saw the name, they would say, oh, must be one of Philly's guys. And that's how I got over. So I was buying Asian heroin. I did that for more than 2 years as a wise guy's nephew. I had this line of shit that these guys swallowed hook, line, and sinker. Hey, my uncle's a wise guy. I'm the money. He's the money man. You deal with me. I got a black guy named Johnny Wood. I'm only selling my product out in the Hamptons. I got to have the finest heroin available. Don't give me no shake and bake. I don't sell beige heroin, nothing from Afghanistan or Mexico. I got to have China white. And I'm always looking for a new line. I'm looking for the right price, and we'll make a lot of money. And I flashed a lot of cash. I wasn't doing street level buys. I was being introduced to these drug dealers by informants. These are people that got locked up. They didn't want to do their time. So what they did was they made an introduction, and I would take that guy. He would bring me to the dealer. I give them my line of shit. They would buy me, and then eventually I'd get rid of the informant. I'd tell the dealer, listen, I don't like this guy. I don't trust him. He's got to go. Every time I deal with you, I got to tip him off. I got to give him $200, $100. Let's get rid of him. Just you and me now. So, and that's what worked really well. We had a bunch of guys in the Bronx that I was dealing with. By the way, I never personally arrested an Asian, because the Asian heroin comes from the Asian Triangle, which is Laos, Burma, and some other place. It's the finest heroin in the world. It's not bought in kilos, which is 2.2 pounds. It's bought in units, which are 700 grams. And they call them bricks. When you bought the brick, there was a big stamp on it, which was the name of the chemist who made the heroin. And I was paying $6,000 an ounce, which was actually white boy prices, and I was trying to chip away at them and break it down. Well, anyhow, I'm buying these guys. I didn't buy 3 units right away. I got to work them. They don't know me, and I started to get friendly with them. I called them on the weekend. I tell them, listen, I'm not coming to your birthday party. You're not coming. I'm not sending you Christmas cards. If you bring your girlfriend around, you're not going to see me no more. I hate women. I'm going through a divorce, and I don't trust women. My wife is looking to take my balls. And if I hear anything about your girlfriend, it's over. Our business relationship stops. Now, drug dealers are notorious for never showing up on time. And one of the rules I had was, listen, when I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. I'm going to give you 15 minutes. If you're not there, you don't see me no more. When I say I'm coming with money, I'm coming with money. Okay. I will show you my money. And but I want to see your product, because you ain't getting shit till I know what you got. So anyhow, we lock up these guys in a Burger King. The reason why we locked them up, because I could only take them so far, and I didn't have the confidence that they could move a lot of powder. And when we locked them up, we went to the DEA headquarters. I got locked up with them, and they were crying in the jail cell. So some of the detectives in my team said, what the hell are you crying for? You don't know who this guy is. His uncle, he's going to kill us all. He's going to kill. They really believed what I was telling them. So
all these guys were Asian guys you were dealing with?
No, these were Dominicans. They surround the Asian guys surround themselves with Dominicans. So I had to get by the Dominican, and I had to get them wrapped up. We did what was called an A1. I'd got to get them to sell me several ounces. More than 2 ounces is an A1 felony, 25 to life. So when I got you wrapped up real tight, I'll buy you a little bit here, a little bit there. Do me a favor. I need an 8-ball for the weekend. I don't get high. I never will get high. I make money off other people's problems. And that was the role I played. And once I got you by the balls, where we got to get a couple of A1s on you, and you're facing 25 to life on 1, 25 to life on 2, you start to sing like a canary bird. And that's what I was looking to do. Get these guys, roll them, and let them take me to the Asian. I never got to the Asian. As far as I got was 2 steps up the line. I had a problem with this Asian lieutenant who was a complete idiot. And he had to show me that he was the lieutenant and I was the lonely detective. And we went nose to nose, and he claimed to be a martial artist, and I had been training in martial arts since I'm 11 years old. So I politely gave him a shot at the title, and the NYPD didn't like that, so they took me out of the team, and they stuck me as a punishment into an Italian team, which I didn't want to do Asian organized crime, because they knew that I knew people. Sometimes I was doing this Asian stuff, going Howard Beach, and I have to tell my sergeant, listen, I know this guy. I played basketball with him in 214 Park. I don't know if he's gonna, raise up on me and remember who I am. So they put me in this team doing Italian bread. Now it's me and another guy. We played like we were brother-in-laws, and we opened up a bakery down in Soho. And organized crime was telling mom and pop stores who they could buy their Italian bread. And I had to go in there and break these people's balls, so the wise guys would come and break our balls. I would say, what do you pay a loaf of bread? 25 cents? I could do it for 20 cents. They said, no, we can't. What do you mean you can't? We're a new company. We want to try our bread. No. The association won't let us. What association? It's America. I said, I'll come back in a couple of weeks. You think about it. I'm back a few weeks later. I'll do it for 15 cents. No, I can't do that. Why? We could only buy from, I'm just saying his name, which was a bread company. We could only buy from Patagonia. What do you mean, Well, come on. Their bread is good, but try ours. We could work something out. And I come back a few weeks later, and I come back with a dozen loaves of bread. But this time I'm wearing a wire so I could get these people telling me why I can't sell the bread there. What I do is I take the bread, I throw their bread on the floor, put my shit there, and I move their bread all around. And of course, it's going to piss off the people, and they throw us out. And then eventually, the wise guys came to shake us down. What these associations were, they were legitimate organizations that were legit corporations that were running a felony enterprise. So, you had to, if you wanted to deal with AMP, Bohack, or whatever, one of the other big stores, you had to kick back because the association said you had to. And that's what they were doing. Now, I started to do well there. Now, doing well, what's going to happen? They're going to have to promote me again. Now, this is the second time I'm not getting promoted. So they stick me in headquarters team number 1 with this lieutenant who's a complete knucklehead. And I got involved in the private sanitation industry. When they sent me to the team for 3 weeks, nobody ever spoke to me because I came there with a bad reputation that I'm a boss fighter. I'm not a boss fighter. I'm just a man, and I would tell them, listen, I don't care if you got stripes, stars, bars on your shoulders. First, I'm a man, then I'm a cop. Okay. They could flex their muscles because they had this rank. They took 3 or 4 more tests that I didn't want to take. And now they had no experience. They couldn't do the same job I did, but they were lieutenants and captains, and that's the way it goes. But
so Operation Wasteland was your final project, final operation.
yes, that's the final case I ever did.
And that was the biggest one, obviously. I'm not sure what names or crews or families you would like to divulge on that case.
Yeah, sure.
I know it was
the Genovese
Gambino.
Genovese family and the Gambinos,
right,
were controlling garbage. Okay, we had this is all public record, so I could say who I arrested. I arrested a young Genovese soldier. I don't know if he was promoted at the time, but he was running one of the trade waste associations. There was 2 in Manhattan, 1 in Brooklyn, 1 in Queens. His name was Frank Javinko, and young buck, tough guy, sharp guy. When I locked him up, he says to me, Lou, if I met you at a wedding or a backyard barbecue, we'd be best of friends. I says, you know what, Frankie, you're absolutely correct. Because I understood them. I know what they were doing. These people are 90% legit, and it's that small 10% that got them jammed up. And I had no animosity against him. He had no animosity. We got him on a wiretap. It's not my fault you were yapping. You know, we did surveillances and all the other stuff. The other gentleman I locked up, he's now passed on. His name was Joe Francolino. Joe Francolino was, at the time, he owned a big company. He was taking over the Manhattan or whatever, one of the trade waste associations that was in Manhattan. It was on Broadway. He was taking over for Jimmy Faila Brown, who controlled garbage for the Gambino crime family.
Right.
And he was an old timer, rough guy. You know, always they call him what do they call him? Joey Cigars or something. He always smoked a cigar. And Mr. Francolino was an absolute gentleman to me. And when it came time to effect the arrest of him, he was in Florida when we had the arrest warrants. And his lawyer got to me. I called the lawyer, and I took him in through the back door of the he was like 58 years old. He wasn't going to fight me, beat me up. You know, I spoke to him like a gentleman. While I'm fingerprinting, he says to me, "Where do you get your clothes?" I said, "I get them the same place you do." Because where are you getting them? I said, "I'm getting them from the garage in Brooklyn." He looked and he left. The garage was a place on.
I know the place.
Yeah. I mean, everybody went there. It was wise guys and cops. Okay. And I said, "Next time you go there, go see Jose. Give him a $20 bill. He'll take care of you." He started to laugh. He said, you dress better than any of the wise guys I know." So he was a real gentleman. And after speaking to him a little bit on the cuff, I said to him, "My good buddy is very good friends with your son. And my good buddy is the son-in-law to so-and-so, who was another wise guy." So, and I gave him the wink, and, you know, I treated him real good. I did not want to cuff him. And of course, this lieutenant that I had made me cuff him, but I didn't rear cuff him. I put the cuffs on the front of him, and I put his coat over him. I said, "Listen, you know, I'm a gentleman. This is one of the things that the NYPD didn't know how to do, was show people respect. This is not drug dealers. I mean, are they bad people? He wasn't killing people. You know, they were shaking down an industry. They were making money from it. They found a loophole that worked for them. And that's that."
Would you call that white collar crime?
A white collar crime?
Would you call it white collar crime, what they were doing?
Nah, there was criminal things going on. You know, they would beat up your drivers, burn your trucks.
Okay.
We had one guy in the Bronx. They told him, you can't pick up the stop. And he sent this guy out there, and he sent the guy out there to pick up the stop, and two guys were waiting for him. They gave him a beat and they hit him with a pipe, and they put the guy in a coma. You know, it was bad. And
how long that operation lasted? How
long? I got into it when it was.
It was already in progress, right?
Oh yeah, it was about a year and a half old, and I was there from '93 to '97. So I did it for 4 years. I lived this case. I didn't know what tour I was doing tomorrow till the end of today. You know what I mean? But sadly, that guy who got the beating, he had his 7-year-old daughter in the truck. She saw her father get tuned up by these two guys. And one of the guys, his name was Raymond Ramos. We locked him up, and he winds up turning. He becomes an informant. That's always what a detective wants to do. A good detective is only good as his informants. And we used to take this guy out of jail so he could meet his family at the DA's office. You know, he was a nice guy. He just had a job to do. And I learned a lot from him because I spoke to him. You know, I learned a lot on, you know, how do you just get up today and decide you're going to tune somebody up with a pipe? And he told me all of his tactics, which I keep under my hat till today. You know, believe it or not, one of the easiest crimes to commit, well, at the time, was a homicide. because it's a you need a weapon, you need a witness, and you need a motive. That's the triangle that you need to solve a case. And he knew how to sidestep a lot of that, so he was pretty slick.
Well, since then, it's been many years since that time.
Right.
And you obviously have moved on and, moved on big time, moved out of New York to begin with,
Right.
start off with. And you have also, as people can see from behind you, you have the Operation Wasteland documentary and the book you mentioned earlier that you're working on. With the Operation Wasteland documentary, where can people find it? Is it out already? What's the story with that?
Well, we're trying to sell it, of course, to Netflix or somewhere. We'll look for somebody to pick it up, pay a fair price, and it could. What the ultimate goal is to have somebody see it, like it, and turn it into a full feature film, because the documentary is the actual facts of the case, which can be found if you foil the whole case. We're just repeating the facts. A full feature film would explain how we got those facts. Now, I got hooked up with this guy, Victor Fiabani, who didn't talk to me for weeks on end. And one of the things that we had to do every Thursday night, we had to sit on Ponte's restaurant because the wise guys had their meeting there. Now, we couldn't get close to Ponte's because the guy who was the parking lot attendant knew every crack in the sidewalk. He knew every car around. And if he saw somebody he didn't know, he'd run in and it was obviously he'd raise everybody up. So we decided we're going to park on the other side of the West Side Highway with the ass end of our car against the Hudson River. Now, little do we know, we're parking in a gay man's meeting place. It was one of those parking rides. Okay, a big parking lot. So we're there on Thursday nights. And we got our surveillance equipment. We got the cameras. We got the binoculars. We're documenting. 8 o'clock, this guy came in. He was dressed in a green shirt, whatever the hell we had to do. And then there's cars coming by us. They're waving. They're beeping their horn. They're flashing their lights. They're looking to pick us up. So to prevent this, we had to start making believe we were two homos in a car. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-gay or anything like that. You do whatever you got to do. You live your life the way you have to live it. But I used to say, Vic, give me a kiss. What? Vic, hug me. What do you mean? That guy's coming back again. The guy in the black Continental. What are you out of your mind? All right, go down on me. Go down on you. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I said, listen, I'll do it to you next week. It was all in fun. During the summer, we sat out there in our short pants and we put out a barbecue grill, and I had my flowered shirt, my blue glasses, and we were amongst all these happy fellows. But in the meantime, we were doing a surveillance.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Very, very smart, very intelligent.
Well, that's what a full feature film would be all about. I can't put that in the report. I'm wearing my pink glasses, and I had to tell my partner to kiss me. And 10 minutes later, we saw Tony Baloney walk in the door. But this would be a very, very hysterically funny case. And then the drama would come into play, and then we fall on our face and we get nothing.
Yeah, I understand. Well, listen, I know we went a little bit over time. Okay, it's all good. If people want to reach out to you to find out more about it, to keep track, to keep abreast of everything you're doing, where can people find? Where would people go?
You could find me on Facebook under Lou Balestrieri or Louis B. And I'm an ugly, bald-headed guy. That's who I am. And I'm a regular guy. You could talk to me. I'm always for the underdog. I'm very pro-cop, very pro-America. And I think I'm a stand-up guy. I didn't do things that I shouldn't have done when I was a cop. Because once I took that oath, I did what I had to do. You know, I locked up my own kind. What does that say?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I treated them right. I worked in narcotics, and that's a different story. You know, that's
Right.
rock'em sock'em business. You don't survive if you're a candy ass.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, my last question, when it comes to Operation Wasteland,
Yes.
I know you're looking to, like you said, to get people interested, to shop it around, blah, that kind of thing. If anybody would like to help you in any way, uh, would people just go to Facebook to find you, or can they?
Yeah, you can. You go to Facebook, reach out to me. I actually this week I had a guy who hit on me that says he was David Chase. Now I have been talking to this guy for
Oh, yeah,
several weeks.
I remember that
You know
story.
what? Yeah, he's more bullshit than poetry. And what I did was I had to change my password and so on and so forth because there's a lot of shysters out on Facebook and in the world. And this guy was nonsense. But he doesn't know that I will find him.
More or less. Well,
And
listen,
his day will be a little upset.
exactly. Lou, listen, I really appreciate you coming on the show. It was a lot of
Oh, it's an
fun.
absolute pleasure meeting you guys. I have to tell you, I knew you 10 minutes and I says, oh, this guy's my buddy here. We're gonna hit it off. Your big problem was you said hello to me. That's a problem because now I'm stuck to you like crotch rot. You can't
I
get rid of
know,
me.
no kidding.
You're a great guy. And
Yeah,
so is Peter.
yeah, Peter's good too. Again, thank you very much, Lou. I really appreciate it for coming on. I wish you a lot of luck and everything.
I
And
appreciate it very much.
yeah, we'll once the show gets on, we'll send you the link and everything, and we'll promote the heck out of it, and hopefully it works out to something good.
I thank you. And if somebody wants to get a hold of me, they can reach out to you. You can give my phone number.
Okay, yeah, they can reach
Okay.
out to you as well.
You
Yes,
know, like little guys like Martin Scorsese, or, you know, one
there
of
you
those
go.
guys. Only
Yeah,
give me
those
a
guys.
holler.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, we know. Well, thank you, Lou. I appreciate it, brother.
Absolute pleasure, my friend. God bless. And you guys do well. Whatever I can do to help you, consider me a friend, and I'm right there for you.
Same here.
Take care.
Thank you. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in for Nick Christopher's Mob Tales. Probably hope to see you guys again soon. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave any comments you can. Thank you.